If you saw my last video, you might remember that I wanted to smoke this Romeo Julieta number 3, but my lighter ran out of fuel. It was doing that thing where you keep pressing it and sometimes it comes out, sometimes it doesn't. I just got it to work and I actually was able to light this thing up. Not the best lighting job I've ever done, but I'd rather have a lit cigar badly than a cigar not lit at all. So the topic of today's talk, I want to talk about something that came up a lot during a recent trip kind of around Europe that I was doing with one of my best friends from Chicago. Now, I've lived in the US for 4 years now, and when I first moved there was a ton of stuff that I kept comparing to the UK or to Europe. And I think we all do this thing when we travel, where we go to a place and if we like it and we spend more than 1 or 2 days there, we start fantasizing about whether or not we would live there and what our lives would look like. And I'm very guilty of this. I do this all the time and I act on it as well. I moved to LA. It was my first place in America. I moved to LA 6 weeks after visiting. I'd only visited once. I knew one other person there. And I thought, you know what, this is for me. This is the right move. And it was, and I'm really, really glad I did that. But when I first moved there was a ton of stuff that I would compare, the US versus the UK or Europe. And there was some stuff that is good, and there's some stuff that's bad. And I would compare everything from like the difference in the work-life balance and attitudes toward health and fitness and politics and pharmaceuticals, all of those huge differences between the American attitude and the European attitude. But I'd also compare really small differences, like why do American men wear baseball caps all the time? Why in Europe is it still okay to wear skinny jeans? That one still baffles me. And it baffles a lot of European women that I've met as well. But ultimately, there are always going to be things that you like more about one place and like less about another place. Now, the friend that I've been traveling with, he's Chicago born and bred, a true Midwesterner, tall, meat and potatoes, salt is too spicy, brown shoes are exotic. That's the kind of guy he is, and I love him to death. But he absolutely loved being in Europe. I mean, he couldn't believe how many cigarettes people smoke over here. He couldn't believe the cafe culture of Paris, the pub culture of London, all of the different foods that we have, not only native cuisines, but also how, for example, we've imported so much food from India over to the UK, all the different foods that you can get in Barcelona, for example. It's a really interesting experience for somebody that's never been outside of the US. And I do find that, sometimes it's easy to be overly conservative and to like what you like and to be afraid of the unknown. And I really admire it when people travel, that they just dive headfirst into the culture. And obviously, during this time, we were talking a lot about what's better in the US and what's better in Europe. For example, I love the cafe of culture of Europe. Sitting outside, having a coffee, having a smoke, people watching. There's nothing better, really. But I don't really like the bars in Europe. I think America has much better bars. I like the walkability of the European city. It's so nice to come out of your apartment, go to a cafe, go to a restaurant, meet up with people, to have that kind of mobility. I mean, it's definitely a form of freedom. But another form of freedom is gunning a muscle car down the highway, which, is definitely less common in Europe. And I like the European attitude toward slow living, to family, the overall balance that they have. There's something quite beautiful about that. But I also love the hustle culture of America. I love waking up early in the morning. I love getting after it. I love the entrepreneurial spirit in America. In fact, I feel like I owe a lot of the things that I've been able to achieve up to this point in my life, and a lot of the parts of my character that I'm proud of, they come from being in America and really absorbing those attitudes through osmosis. But here's the thing, whether we're talking about countries or cities, or you're comparing your current girlfriend to your previous girlfriend, or your gym crush, or you're comparing one diet to another diet, there are always going to be things that are better about one approach and worse about the other. And ultimately in life, we actually often don't get to mix and match. We don't get to combine the best of both. We have to choose. And the way that I feel about Europe versus the US is pretty much how I feel about many things. Neither one is better. They are just different. And thank God they are different as well. Those differences are what make traveling to the other place worth it, what make having those experiences worth it in the first place. It's not exactly easy to get across the Atlantic. Well, it's easy, but it's arduous. You have to spend 8 or 10 hours on a plane, spend hundreds if not thousands of dollars, pay for all of your accommodation. But my friend said to me on the trip, you can learn more spending 2 weeks in a different culture than you can in 3 years of a college education. And I definitely agree with that. So, as I'm traveling, I am only spending 3 months in one particular place at a time. And that's actually due to visa restrictions. I'm an American and British citizen. I can't spend more than 90 out of 180 days in Europe. Now, I could get a visa if I wanted to, that wouldn't be a problem, but I kind of like these restrictions, and it's the same when I'm going to be in Asia, same if I go to South America. I actually like these restrictions because they force you to think creatively, and that's how I feel about adapting to these different cultures. I'm not trying to force my Americanisms on Europe. When I go back to the US, I'm not trying to enforce my Europeanisms on America. I think it's great to take inspiration and to pick the best things that you've learned and incorporate them into your life, but see the beauty in either side and learn to adapt your way of working, your way of living to either one. I mean, in Europe, for example, when I go to the grocery store, I can't follow the same diet that I had in the US. I mean, they just don't have the products like the egg whites. They don't have the super lean turkey or ground beef. I go to the grocery store here, like a Mercadona, and it's just ground beef. There is no other choice. There isn't a zero-fat Greek yogurt. They just don't have stuff like that. But rather than cause that to be a problem, I actually embrace that and I look at all of the fantastic healthy things that they do have over here that I perhaps wouldn't have access to over in America. And when it comes to working hours, when it comes to how I spend my leisure time, recreation, everywhere has something special about it. Right now, I mean, can't believe it's November and the sun is right here. It's just incredible. So I get to go and play golf this afternoon, and I'm looking forward to actually improving and working on my golf game this winter and seeing how much better I can get at that. If I go over to Argentina again, I probably won't be playing golf. But I have this fascination with tango. I've done a bit of tango dancing before when I was in Buenos Aires, and I would love to pick that back up. So I kind of see it as wherever you go, you can pick up parts of their culture, adapt yourself, and learn new skills as well. Oh, I should have puffed on this more. I should have puffed on this stogie more. It's gone out. Let's see if I have any fuel in the tank. Having everything optimized all of the time isn't optimal. I don't want to be catered to. I'd rather be a chameleon, and that's what makes this whole experience worth it. That's what makes being open-minded worth it. And I don't want every place to be the same, and in the same way, I don't want to be the same person in every place. Although I will admit, I did go to the Starbucks in Madrid. They have really good Wi-Fi though, I'm sorry, they have good Wi-Fi.